What if the most powerful force within you could either transform your life or completely destabilize it? A seeker once approached a wise teacher, his face filled with curiosity and unease. He began describing something he had heard. A man sitting alone in a dark room, his body shaking violently, not in small tremors, but in powerful, uncontrollable spasms. Waves of sharp pain rising from his feet, moving up his spine, into his neck, into his skull, as if it might burst. Inside his head, roaring sounds echoed, high-pitched whistling. His hands began to burn. His body felt like it was tearing from within. And then suddenly, a burst of light flooded his entire inner being. And just as suddenly, the pain disappeared. The man began to laugh, overwhelmed by a strange, inexplicable bliss. The seeker paused and asked quietly, "Is this madness?" The teacher looked at him calmly. To an untrained eye, he said, "It certainly appears so. Many would call it a psychological breakdown. But modern research has tried to understand such states differently. In the book Kundalini, Psychosis or Transcendence, written by psychiatrist Lee Sanella, such experiences are described as lying on a fine line between spiritual awakening and psychological crisis. The teacher paused, then continued. If this dimension of energy is activated, entirely new dimensions of life begin to open. But the real question is not whether it is good or bad. The real question is, are you ready? He then asked the seeker something simple. When a child is born, it passes through pain, struggle, and chaos. Yet we do not call it destruction. We call it birth. In the same way, great masters have described this process as an inner birth, intense, disorienting, but capable of giving rise to a higher state of consciousness. The seeker listened carefully. Then, what is this force? The teacher spoke slowly. Yoga is often misunderstood. It is not merely physical exercise. As described in the Upanishad, yoga is the union of individual consciousness with the universal. Among many paths, there exists one that works directly with the deepest layers of human energy. It is considered the most powerful and therefore the most dangerous. That force is called Kundalini. Right now, as you sit and listen, the very alertness within you, that is Kundalini in its active form. It is the fundamental life force. Gopi Krishna described it as an evolutionary energy within human beings, capable of transforming the brain and expanding awareness. It is described in Sanskrit as something coiled, like a serpent. But this symbolism is often misunderstood. Swami Shivanand referred to it as the serpent power, a mysterious force underlying all existence, both organic and inorganic. Yet, Swami Satyananda Saraswati clarified that the word also comes from kund, a pit, a cavity, even a sacred fire altar, a place where transformation occurs. Just as fire transforms whatever is placed into it, this inner force transforms the human being. It is also called Shakti, the dynamic energy of existence. And its ultimate union is with Shiv, pure stillness, absolute consciousness. The journey of Kundalini is often described as the movement of Shakti rising to unite with Shiv. In the Tantra, it is described not as belief, but as a direct experience, an expansion of awareness beyond the usual boundaries of time, space, and identity. Within the human system, only a small portion of this energy is active, just enough for survival. The rest remains dormant. So again, the question is not whether this is good or bad. The question is, are you ready? but what actually happens within. Ancient texts like the Vedas and Tantra describe a subtle system of energy centers known as chakras. As this energy rises, it moves through subtle centers known as chakras, each representing a different dimension of human experience. At the base lies the Muladhara, the root, where awareness is bound to survival, fear, and stability. Just above it, the Swadhisthana, the center of desire, pleasure, and emotional movement. At the navel, the Manipur, where power, ambition, and personal will begin to dominate. At the heart, the Anahat, where emotion deepens into love, connection, and devotion. At the throat, the Vishuddha, where expression becomes refined, truthful, and expansive. At the space between the eyebrows, the Agya, where awareness sharpens into clarity, perception, and deep inner stillness. When awareness stabilizes in Agya, perception becomes clear, almost piercing. But even this is not the end. Beyond this, awareness no longer observes, it dissolves. And that dissolution is what leads into Samadhi. And beyond all these, at the crown, lies the Sahasrara. Not just another center, but a doorway to something beyond the individual self. A point where individuality begins to dissolve into a much larger reality. But even at these higher states, there is still instability. The teacher looked at the seeker and said quietly, "Even after reaching these levels, the mind can fall back. One moment of distraction, one unresolved desire, and awareness can descend again to lower states." This is why the journey is not just about rising, but stabilizing. And beyond this point, the journey is no longer gradual. Ancient tradition suggests that up to this stage, there are many structured ways to progress. But beyond this, there is no method. What lies ahead is not a step, but a leap. Because in a deeper sense, this path is not about becoming something more. It is about letting something fall away. Many traditions have hinted at this truth, that before awakening, something within must die. Not the body, but the identity you have always believed yourself to be. A leap that can only happen through surrender, trust, or an intensity that dissolves the very identity you carry. The seeker, now deeply absorbed, asked what such an awakening feels like. The teacher said that across cultures, similar patterns have been observed. A rising current of energy, heat, inner sound, light. Researchers like Itzhak Bentov and Stanislav Grof documented such experiences in individuals undergoing deep transformation. Even Carson observed similar patterns, energy moving upward through the body, accompanied by profound inner changes. Other researchers explored this from the perspective of the brain. Michael A. Persinger studied how certain brain stimulations could induce powerful states of presence and altered awareness. Andrew Newberg found measurable changes in brain activity during deep spiritual states. Some have called this process spiritual emergence, a transformation that may appear chaotic, but is actually a deeper reorganization of the mind. Even the great psychologist Carl Jung spoke of this journey symbolically. He described a monk wandering into an unknown forest, trying to return, only to find his path blocked by a fierce dragon. Unable to go back, the monk is forced to move forward into the unknown. Jung said, this dragon represents the awakening of a deeper force within, the very energy that compels a person toward their greatest transformation. If you're still here, it means something in this is resonating with you. The seeker felt both awe and fear. He then asked, how can this be awakened? The teacher replied that there are many paths. Through breath and discipline, through meditation, through devotion, through inquiry, through mantra, or through the grace of a realized teacher. One such path is known as Kundalini Yoga, a system designed to gradually prepare the body and mind through breath, movement, and awareness so that this energy can rise in a balanced way. But preparation is essential. Sadhguru emphasizes that the question is not whether to awaken this energy, but whether one is ready to handle it. Because this force amplifies whatever is within. Handled correctly, it transforms. Handled without preparation, it can destabilize. There are accounts where individuals, attempting to force this awakening without guidance, faced severe consequences, mental imbalance, emotional instability, and in extreme cases, complete psychological breakdown. This is why the path demands discipline, patience, and clarity. In today's world, many promise shortcuts to awakening. Instant activation, forced experiences, quick results. But across traditions, transformation has never been described as something mechanical. Even in the Bible, during the baptism of Jesus Christ, the Spirit is described as descending like a dove, not forced, not triggered, but received. Because what is real cannot be rushed, and what rises without preparation can overwhelm the very system it is meant to transform. It is also said that along the way, subtle temptations arise, experiences of power, insight, or perception that can distract the seeker. Without awareness, one may get trapped in these states, mistaking them for the final goal. This energy can rise slowly, allowing adaptation, or rapidly, bringing such intense change that one's entire life feels like it is collapsing. Relationships, identity, purpose, everything may begin to shift, and yet, seekers across centuries have walked this path willingly. Because what lies beyond is extraordinary. When this energy stabilizes, the transformation is profound. Clarity sharpens. Distractions lose their hold. Creativity begins to flow effortlessly, sometimes at levels that feel beyond the ordinary human mind. Many traditions say that this awakened intelligence can express itself in different forms, as poetry, as music, as insight, or as a deeper clarity in action. Some have also reported heightened perception, moments of intuition so sharp they feel almost like clairvoyance, a sensitivity to life that goes far beyond ordinary thinking. In that sense, this is not just personal transformation. It is often described as a step in the evolution of human consciousness itself, where perception, intelligence, and awareness begin to operate at an entirely different level. Many traditions say that great artists, visionaries, and even spiritual masters express this awakened intelligence in different forms. A deep sense of inner freedom emerges, not as withdrawal, but as independence from fear and compulsions. Presence becomes powerful. Decisions become clear. The mind becomes still, yet intensely alive. Even the body often feels lighter, more energized, more balanced. Some traditions describe this as the awakening of a higher intelligence within. And when this energy reaches its peak, it is said that all sense of separation dissolves. There is no longer you and the world, only a unified experience of existence. In that state, time as we know it begins to lose meaning. What remains is often described as something eternal, not as an idea, but as a direct experience of existence without boundaries. This state is known as Samadhi. Sri Arvind described it as the emergence of a higher consciousness within human beings. Kundalini, then, is not just a spiritual concept. It is the evolutionary force within human beings. not just for personal transformation, but as the next step in human evolution. Even in Western thought, similar ideas have appeared. Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel spoke of consciousness evolving toward an ultimate realization, and Pierre Teilhard de Chardin proposed that evolution itself is moving toward a final point of unified consciousness, the omega point. In a world constantly pulling attention outward, this path turns it inward. Perhaps that is why it feels so rare and so powerful. The seeker sat in silence. The teacher looked at him and said softly, "Prepare the mind, steady your awareness, refine your inner state. Do not rush, because when the awakening truly happens, it cannot be undone. And what begins then is not an experience, but a transformation of what you are." If this opened a new perspective for you, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who is seeking, and subscribe for more such explorations. And if you feel you now understand Kundalini energy a little better, comment yes below and also share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you.